and I'm now helping people buy blogs and content sites. And I see that there's a bit of a problem in our space, Jeff. And that's why I wanted to get you on to chat about writing and writing better blogs, because most people are blogging in our space because they want to replace their income and just do it for the money. And what's been lost is writing style and just writing really good content, not just for the money, but to help people and serve people. And not as much people care about their work. They're playing a numbers game. They want to put out as much content as possibly can. They want, you know, they've got a lot of ghostwriters, and I don't think that's a problem, but the editing of that is insufficient in many, many ways. So as a blogger, I wanted to speak to you about how to not be boring in our writing and how to serve better. So you talk about exceptional writing. What are some of the ingredients? Like, I know you speak to so many people. What are some of the ingredients that you would be sharing with people that can allow them to have exceptional writing if they've got a blog that's trying to make money, but also put some love into their writing?
Right. Well, you know, money follows value, and value in many cases is a byproduct of connection, right? I value the things that I'm connected to, that I feel connected to. So think about the relationships that you value the most. They're often your deepest, most meaningful connections. So, you know, money and connection, one could say, are not the same thing, but related. I never tried to make money off of my writing, mostly because I didn't know that it was a thing that you could do when I started blogging in 2006.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to make a connection, right? And the reality is, if you make a connection, you can make money, right? Think about, I don't know what things are like in Australia, but in the US, you know, if you're walking through, say, a shopping mall, right? Or walking down the street in a busy city, you might have somebody say, "Hey, excuse me, can I talk to you?" And you ignore them because you know they're trying to sell you something. They don't actually want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But even in that sort of, you know what I'm saying? Like, even in, or like back in the days when people would call you and they would get, you know, they would get your phone number and they would call you and try to sell you something. Now my iPhone literally says spam, you know, don't answer this. But even then, even those people that are trying to sell you makeup in the shopping mall or whatever, they understand that before I can make a sale, I first have to make a connection.
Yeah.
So set that aside for a second and go, well, how do I make a connection? Not being boring is a really important piece of that, because we ignore things that are boring, because more often than not, things that bore us feel ordinary. They feel taken for granted. You know, the sky is blue is a boring idea because everybody knows that. And if I say the sky is red, you know, on the other side, unless it really is because it's a sunset or something, I say it's something, you know, I say something completely absurd, that gets dismissed, right? So think about this in terms of the writing world. People will ignore your writing because you're saying something so outlandish, even if it's true, you know, even if it's like aliens landed in my backyard yesterday and it actually happened. It doesn't matter that it's true. We don't believe the truth. We believe things that are interesting to us, right? That's really important when you think about sales, marketing, content. It's all the same thing, which is I have to tell my reader a story that they're willing to accept. And if I don't do that, I lose. I can't sell them anything. I can't get them to believe anything. And so rule number one is I have to surprise them with something that is not so outlandish that they go, "That's crazy. I'm not listening to you." And it's not so boring that they go, "Well, yeah, duh, everybody knows that." And so when, you know, these days I don't spend a lot of time working on blogs. I write books and I run a ghostwriting agency now, helping people write and edit books. We will ghostwrite it. We'll also help people, you know, work on their content. And I learned this from blogging, which is that just because you say something doesn't mean people are going to pay attention. And the stakes for a blog post are relatively low. The stakes for a book that you might spend a year or two writing, and you might spend a lot of money working on that, that's high. You want to get that message right. And so when we're working with a client, we always start with a big idea. And a big idea is always an idea that challenges your audience's assumptions. And so every time I sat down to write a blog post, I thought, I'm picking a fight here. What is the thing that I could say that I believe is true that would also be upsetting to a certain group of people and equally exciting to another group of people? If you do that, you win, which is, I don't want to just go around pissing people off. But I also don't want to go around telling people exactly what they want to hear. I want to challenge their assumptions, get them to think differently about something. And the little tool that I use is just a little simple formula, and you could use it for every blog post you ever write, which is everybody thinks X about a particular subject. Everybody thinks blank about a subject, but the truth is Y. And one of the reasons I succeeded as a blogger so many years ago is every blog post was a fight. And I blogged every day for 2 years straight. I mean, I was very prolific, and I never mailed it in. Or if I did, I regretted it and tried harder the next time. But like I wrote every day as if my blog depended on it. I wasn't making any money off of it. I was just trying to get some attention. And then I turned that attention into, a 7-figure business.